Have you ever heard a veterinarian refer to themselves as doctor? Why do they think they have the right to do that, besides the fact that they got a doctorate degree? Hello, my name is Ashley Vassell, and I'm going to be your host this evening, who will be diving into this fun topic.
Coming at you live from Chile, Connecticut, we're going to get into the nitty, the gritty. Let's go.
Let me ask you, have you ever eaten meat, seafood, dairy, or eggs and not died? That's because the USDA has veterinarians for every state, responsible for investigating and overseeing animal health programs, taking into consideration the animals and their products, from the moment the animal is alive, all throughout the slaughter process, until it's sitting in front of you on your dinner plate. Now, beyond the risk of getting a zoonotic disease through your food products, there are so many other zoonoses that you could still possibly get, like rabies. Did you know that about 75% of the emerging diseases are zoonotic diseases? Meaning they jump from animals to humans. But like, why aren't we all just running around with disease when there's so many things that can infect us, like parasites, bacteria, viruses, fungi? The list goes on. Well, I guess we can thank veterinarians, because part of their job is protecting public health. While we're on the topic of zoonotic disease, let's get into this pandemic we're all experiencing. Did you know that a veterinarian, Dr. Borla, helped develop the vaccine? Did you know that when this pandemic was at its peak and hospitals were overflowing, that veterinary equipment was being used because it's the same exact equipment that's used in people? Did you know there was such thing as the veterinary corps? Yes, you heard me. Army veterinarians, where their jobs can range from the basic care of a bomb-sniffing dog to getting deployed in other countries to help manage or eradicate epidemic or endemic infectious diseases in livestock. So as veterinarians, we are still learning about people and their diseases. We even apply our animal anatomy courses to human anatomy. Pretty much everything is the same as in people. Like when I was taking my anatomy practical, I would literally hunch over and I'd be like, okay, the pin is here in the dog, so that would be here in me, so the answer is this organ. But what's impressive about our anatomy courses is we're not just learning one species, we're learning all of the species. Some animals have multi-compartment stomachs. Some animals are completely missing organs or structures. Some species are just super susceptible to dying. Horses. And yes, it's very important that human doctors know different types of racial differences for medical care to properly treat their patients, and I understand that there's a lot of different races out there that they need to know. And I am in no way belittling a doctor's education or knowledge, but don't you dare, and don't you let anyone dare, belittle veterinarians as well. And while we're on the topic of humans, do you know what a xenograft is? A xenograft is when you transplant organ, tissues, cells from one individual to an individual of another species. And a lot of veterinary research is done on this. And while we're on the topic of illnesses, let's talk about pharmaceuticals and drugs. Veterinarians dispense a lot of the same exact drugs that are used in people, so we know all about them. And since we know all about drugs, we also know the importance of antibiotic resistance. Pretty much, a bacteria becoming resistant to an antibiotic is inevitable, which is why we must be so cautious and selectively treat our animals, especially when we're using these same exact medications for people. You know, we don't want a bunch of resistant bacteria running around, going crazy. Now we don't have an effective drug to stop them. So yes, veterinarians focus on animal health and safety for pet owners and farmers, but they also do a lot more. And personally, I didn't know a lot of these things until I started veterinary school. But I also didn't walk around telling veterinarians that they didn't have any right to call themselves doctors because they weren't real doctors. If you're ignorant, you're immature. Never forget that knowledge is power. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share with family and friends, and as always, I'll see you guys soon.